In this presentation, we'll be talking about the ageing of population and how it affects the global business environment.
In the UK, the population is increasing and also starting to age. Between the years 2016 and 2020, the number of people aged over 65 are expected to increase by 12%. An ageing population in the UK will have an impact on the business environment and economy, as elderly population growing rapidly will result in many people in the UK claiming pension benefits, which will result in a decrease in employment and also less people paying income tax. This might have a knock-on effect on the current workforce, as this can lead to an increase in tax rates to help fund pension benefits. The impact this has on the global business environment is that shortage of working people would force small businesses to encourage more people to work by increasing wages, which is a business cost, as if they are not receiving high output, they will not be able to fund or compete with the employee wages. However, firms which target older people can capitalise on this opportunity of an ageing population, as services such as private care homes and care providers, which cater and offer assistance to older people, will help the industry grow, as many people enter retirement at a faster rate. Other firms such as pharmacies in the UK will also benefit from this trend due to the fact that elderly people tend to need more medical care as health issues rise.
Increased life expectancy combined with declining birth rates has caused Japan to worry about the impact of an ageing population on the business environment. Currently, 26.3% of the population is 65 or older, and it is predicted that by 2050, 40% of the population will be 65 or older, meaning that there will be a 13.7% increase in a 34-year period. Due to nearly a quarter of the population being 65 or above, this could result in a shortage of workers. This is due to retirement and hence would push up wages to attract workers so they can meet demand. This would result in wage inflation. Alternatively, businesses may have to respond by encouraging more people to enter the workforce through offering flexible working practices, which may go against the way the business would usually operate. For example, in Japan, employees usually work long hours. However, if there is not enough workers, they may reduce them to attract workers. However, it may be difficult to source workers, as it's estimated that the percentage of people working under the age of 15 is 20.5%. This suggesting that they are being educated to a minimal level and may not be able to take over skill-related jobs. Until around 1975, most families in Japan were having 2 children, sustaining the population size, but then the birth rate began to fall. Changing social attitudes meant that women were educated to a high level, entered the workforce and had fewer children later in life. In a sense, it could be argued that the business environment has had a lot to gain from more women entering the workforce and occupying skill-related jobs. However, there has been a recent spike in fertility as cash incentives for new parents in Japan was introduced. Therefore, women have started to leave the workforce to have children, meaning that the population percentage would increase, and as a result, when the children grew to be older, they may become a replacement for the retired and contribute to the economy, resulting in businesses having enough staff to meet demand.
Italy's population is estimated at 60 million people. Their median age is 46.3 years. As our country's population ages, consumers' demand tend to change. Also, due to falling birth rates and rising death rates, consumption patterns are likely to change considerably. The demographic profile of the population can dramatically influence consumption patterns. In Italy, fast-moving consumer goods are bought by the younger demographic. However, older people generally spend more, but on less items. Also, they'll create a larger market for goods and services linked to older people, for example, retirement homes. Industrial products, textiles and apparel, shoes and food are Italy's most important exports. Fuels, meat, grain products and various raw materials are among their major imports. An older population impacts the global business environment because consumer demands will change as people get older and also as people's wants and needs change. Therefore, the goods and services produced will have to be adapted to what the consumers want and need. If there's more older people than younger people in Italy, then the goods that they import and export will need to be changed to satisfy both the younger and older population.
Million people in Kenya that are above the age of 60. By 2019, this number is expected to reach 2.1 million. It has been predicted that Kenya's birth rate will decrease by half by 2020. 30 years ago, each woman would be expected to have around 8 children, whereas this has decreased to just 4 children per woman. As a result, the replacement rate is struggling as there is now only half the amount of people being born that need to be replaced in the business environment. Kenya is Africa's largest export market, with their main exports being tea, coffee and petroleum products. Kenya will then sell these products to places like the UK for a higher price, which will then provide income into their economy. Main export of the country is tea and coffee, which provides hard manual work, although it is an extremely popular job role. Due to it being such a physical job, this will decrease the age in which people in their country will retire. Businesses need to make sure that they gain replacement employees, as there is a huge amount of income for their country's economy. As a result, there could be a shortage of workers. If they can't keep up with the demand, they will also lose sales and income. To educate the country, the government of Kenya introduced free primary level education. The country's hope is to develop people's skills to build their people and their economy. More skilled means that they will result in better jobs and more return into their environment. Currently, there is only 77% of people that can read and write in Kenya. The free education should improve this. There is a lack of higher education, which means people enter low-level jobs which aren't paying as well. As a result, they will have lower income tax and less money going into their economy. However, their education may encourage them to enter higher education and find better opportunities for themselves. However, these jobs may be found in another country, so people may leave. As a result, the government will lose out on income tax and will have no return from their investment in education. In Kenya, there is a small sector in which involves strong business environment that works internationally. This will provide well-paid and high-skilled jobs. From the higher salary, they will be able to afford things like mortgages, and the government will gain higher interest from these.
Japan have falling birth rates, therefore there's a low replacement rate for the death rate. And also there's a shortage of workers, and this means that they won't be able to keep up with demand.
In relation to Japan and the UK, as there is a high number of people that are over the age of 65, this will mean that the countries will need to provide a high level of healthcare. So, for example, in the UK, you would have to invest a lot more in the NHS, and in Japan, they would have to bring in a lot more services related to the elderly, for example, care homes, etc.
In regards to the UK and Kenya, the UK has a larger professional business environment which provides a large amount of higher skilled jobs where you need higher level qualifications, whereas in Kenya their main job role is hard labour work and there's a lack of high professional work. In conclusion, each country is affected by their ageing of population, and this has a huge effect on their business environment.